A local church in the city that has been on the front lines of the refugee housing crisis is being forced to shut down. Officials with the Pilgrim Feast of the Tabernacle say as of December 28th, they will be closing their shelter space due to cost.
Canada itself is known as a place of refuge. Internationally, we have danced well. We have done well. We give well. But now it's in our country, and we cannot allow Black people to sleep on the street.
It's a worry for Nadine Miller, who has been working around the clock since July, making sure these refugees have a roof over their heads and warm food to eat.
We really need a helping hand at this point. We need those with a voice to stand up with us.
But the cost to keep the Pilgrim Feast of the Tabernacles running as a shelter has put the church into debt to the tune of about $700,000 to $800,000.
On a given month, with all the different locations that we have, it's $30,000. And then you have staff, that's $100 and something thousand. So by the time you're looking at every month, we're in at least $250,000 debt that we have to pay, and now that debt is now overwhelming.
Right now, the church is housing about 80 people, with some being moved to hotels in regions like Niagara and Windsor regularly. And while many are being placed in shelters or permanent housing, more asylum seekers continue to show up at the door.
Last night, we still had people coming at the doors. I still had to take in a woman and children, and I have them upstairs in one of the rooms that we already shut down.
Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada says it has over 4,000 hotel rooms in 6 provinces, including about 2,500 rooms in 16 hotels in Ontario to provide temporary housing to asylum seekers. Miller says a more permanent solution is needed.
We found a couple of places, but we just don't have the financial capacity. We need to figure out how we're going to meet that budget, because as you can see, once you start bringing in the beds, more people are going to come.
In a statement, the IRCC says, in part, work towards a longer-term solution is ongoing. In the meantime, IRCC has been working collaboratively with impacted provinces and municipalities to transfer asylum claimants requiring temporary accommodations from provincial shelters and churches to IRCC-funded hotels with available space. But with it being so early in the winter season and more refugees arriving to Toronto daily, Miller fears for what will happen without adequate support from all levels of government.
We need 3 levels of government to really talk. They need to get together and talk and not play the mind game. They're not children, they're leaders. And we vote them in, and they need to act accordingly and lead.
And just last week, Dominion Church also announced it would be shutting down their shelter space as well due to lack of funding. They are currently raising money with the hopes of opening a shelter with 500 beds in Peterborough.